You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. That's the sound of one can opening.
No, that was all three in unison perfectly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Talkies.
Hi.
Cue the weird
Cue
sound
water.
from next door.
Cue the water.
Just for all of our very attentive listeners who notice that sound coming in every so often, it's because our lovely studio is adjacent to one of the finest liquor stores and delis in the world.
It's true. Yeah.
It's true. I love the people over there, and they love us. It's where I get my yerba mate. They make a mean veggie sandwich.
Yes.
They also like to run the water while we're
Constantly.
recording the talkies.
All the time.
Anytime we start they probably listen. They're like, oh, they're about to record.
Yeah.
Let's turn that water on.
Yeah.
We've now let people know that we're next to a liquor store and Alberto's.
Now, if you can track us down, the only film studio in between an Adalberto's Mexican food and a liquor store, then you will have the location, the secret location of Carmen Line Studios. All right, so today we're taking a topic instead of a movie.
Yep.
And this is a topic we talk about often, and it's becoming more and more in the news. It's what is happening to the cinematic experience.
What
is happening, to quote M. Night Shyamalan. With streaming services, with MoviePass, and whatever MoviePass is going to turn into.
It's already getting there. Something else.
We have this strain between within the industry, with like the Cannes Film Festival coming out and just blacklisting all Netflix productions from
Right.
their programming.
Yeah.
Big names like Steven Spielberg coming out and saying that any movie that comes out on a streaming service should not qualify for an Oscar. Meanwhile, it's the streaming services that are actually giving the most new opportunities for growth and for like indie filmmakers, becoming a very powerful platform. Where is all this going, and why should anyone care? Do you care? Do you care?
I care.
All right.
I don't. I'm gonna leave.
Oh, jeez.
D's excused.
D's done with films.
I'm done. It's mainly a conversation about the future of films.
Future and the past, really. I mean, it's like I love the cinema experience.
Yeah, so do I.
I love going to a movie theater, whether it's an empty movie theater on a morning matinee, which we often get to enjoy, or a packed house with the right crowd. You know, those two are just, I love those experiences.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a bit of an old soul, and I missed the time when I should have been alive. I wish that one of the eras that I wish I was there to see was the era of the movie palace. You know, these giant cathedrals that were built in honor of the movies, where 3,000 people would sit in a beautiful architecture building,
Right.
and all come together for the purpose of watching a movie,
Right.
and it being just sort of a sacred experience. We don't have that now, and it just looks like we're going to have less of that. And I feel like most people don't care.
Yeah. I would. Yeah, I would say so. I'd say most people don't care. I think. Go ahead.
Sorry.
D,
We're at an
go.
impasse.
D, you're up.
I think a lot of what we're talking about, well, people who like movie theaters, there's a ton of people that do like movie theaters, but for a time, even when they first came out, when they first started building widescreens, making them separate from TV, they were dying for a bit, because TV had come out and people want to see motion pictures at home. They don't want to travel some other place and watch it. So yeah, I think as a wide net type of thing, like for the masses, I don't think a lot of people really care that much about movie theater experiences. I don't know. I think it's more of a movie.
At this point, it seems to only be propped up by tentpole movies.
Right. Things like Infinity War and
yeah.
I think it's really hard to. I almost think it's impossible to convince somebody who doesn't care to care about a movie going experience. If you already kind of have it in your head that you don't like going to the movies for honestly pretty reasonable reasons, which would be like people being on their phones or just being loud and obnoxious or being distracting, having to go and pay money and being ripped off by concessions, stuff like that. That's all reasonable. And I think those people who are stuck on that kind of mindset, it's pretty much like just a done deal, and they're going to be better off streaming, you know. Some people just have that preference, and that's fine. I like to think and hope that there's enough people kind of like us that love going to have an experience in a theater, like a communal experience with an audience, that theaters will kind of always be around. That's what I'm hoping for. That's my optimistic outlook, because I just love going to the theater so much. And like you were saying, Dee, the theater experience has been challenged every now and again throughout history, like television challenged films.
And they've always answered it with some kind of
crazy
innovation.
Yeah, widescreen.
Like gimmick.
3D.
Or gimmick,
Yeah, 3D. They have now D boxes.
Yeah.
Have you heard of those?
What?
What is that?
It's
sounds like an insult.
They're powered
D
seats.
box.
They're powered seats, not like the ones that we've done, but the
Recliners?
they like move with the movie.
Oh, they give you a VR.
Almost, yeah.
That
almost
seems
a VR experience.
really stupid.
Yeah, I don't like that.
So they have those.
Does the director like engineer the movements of the seat?
That would be great, right?
Yeah.
Like if the director engineered the movements of the seat, but it's
just them. They're just
who's
moving
doing
it, and,
that?
like
It's just like if an explosion happens, they shake.
then they shake the seats. Yeah, that's pretty much.
that's 4D.
Nothing.
No.
They called it 4D for a while.
It's the fourth dimension.
You remember? So like
Wait a minute.
I mean, we don't remember because it was a while ago, but smell-o-vision was a thing. And that I feel like that's this year's smell-o-vision.
Yeah.
Is D-Box seats.
Wow. I haven't even heard of it, so it can't be that big.
I really don't think it is.
The gimmick that is here to stay is the reclining chairs, which almost every major theater in our area
Is switching.
has reclining
But
chairs.
you see, it's like that is also a sign of the decline,
Right.
Yeah.
Because the only reason they can afford to do reclining chairs is because they don't need 500 seats anymore.
Interesting.
Right.
They-
that's interesting.
Yeah, those recliners take up the
take up
space
more.
of 3 chairs apiece.
Yeah.
Right.
So now you have theaters that seat 60 to 80
Yeah.
instead of 300.
Interesting.
That's a big shift. They're charging a little more, but not that much more. It's to just keep people coming back, make them a little more comfortable, make them think your theater experience is a little better.
Right. See, and I think it's actually going to grow even more toward that area of like personal space type of way. At least in the US, I can see that, where they have. I mean, I've heard of these places like movie hotels where they have basically each room is a dedicated area for someone to sit and watch a movie. And what they do is they have. I don't know if it's an actual thing yet or if it's just an idea, but they have the movie playing in like a big screen in your room, and then they have your couch, and stuff like that you sit with your friends or your family and have a private experience. And
For theatrical releases, though.
Yeah, for theatrical releases. And I think
Right.
that's how they're going to grow. And I feel like that.
Except that seems to me that model would be dead in the water as soon as we go to as soon as
streaming.
theatrical releases are released directly to the home,
Right.
which seems inevitable.
It does. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I would agree.
I like the idea that carving out time to watch a movie and to go to a movie is as a special thing. And I equate it to the way audiophiles talk about listening to music, right? This was something that was much more common in the time of vinyl, right? In the time of vinyl records.
Yeah.
Was that when you bought an album, you had this thing that you could listen to. You didn't have 5,000 songs on an iPod. You didn't have a quick way of clicking through them.
Yeah.
Instead, you just spent a big chunk of money on this album. And so you would sit down and listen to it. song to the next song to the next song. The order of the songs had significance. The choice of what was on the A side and the B side had significance. And you would sit in a place where you could listen to your music. Many people had listening rooms where you would just listen to an album. Like that was a thing you did.
Yeah.
And the movie theater keeps the movies in that sort of special place as a thing we go do where we shut off the rest of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right? As a filmmaker, I get so anxious when I sit next to someone who is eating while they watch a movie.
Yeah.
Now I know this is so snobby of me, right? And it's because unless you're drinking a soda with a straw and have a bucket of popcorn, those are the perfect foods for watching movies because you can eat and drink without ever taking your eyes off the screen.
Right.
But anyone who's like eating something with like a spoon or a fork and every 3 seconds they're putting their eyes down on their plate, it drives me mad. I want to scream at them. I'm like, you just missed. You missed that cut.
No, yeah.
That was like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
You were looking at the ground. Don't tell me you saw this movie. You missed half the movie. You're looking at your potatoes.
So, that's exactly. I hate
It drives
that too.
me nuts.
It's
right?
funny. My mom does this. Not where she just eats in front.
Yeah.
But she'll get up to go do something in the other room, and I'm like, "Where are
She
you going?"
leaves.
Yeah. And she's like, "No, I'm watching it."
I can still hear it down the hall.
I can still hear it.
Yeah, that's why I can't.
Sorry,
when it's my film, I don't like even being in the theater. I'd go
Well, that's different.
go pace
Yeah,
in the back because I can't watch people.
Well, you've edited it, probably.
I know, that's what I mean. If I've edited something and I'm like, you missed my edit.
Yeah, it becomes like too personal.
I take it way too
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
And again, I fully recognize the weirdness of the way I look at things. But that's why the cinema's special to me. And so it does cause me great concern, this idea that cinemas may disappear.
Yeah.
Because what it's looking more and more like is that there is not enough demand to justify the infrastructure that exists. And it's kind of funny because we went through these phases, right, that we've talked about before, the cinema always evolving to compete against the screen at home. Nothing new. But one of those shifts was we started with these cinema palaces, right? This movie palace, this grand, it was like the biggest building in your city, right? This big, beautiful building where you'd go and you'd watch your movie. And then they needed an ability to compete with the home screen and with what audiences wanted. They needed the prices to be cheaper. So they came up with the Cinemaplex, right? Where you now had 8 screens, 10 screens, 14 screens in one place. The whole experience was majorly cheapened so that it was less of an ordeal to get your family out to a movie and watch it. And now that is being threatened, we're moving back to this like more special experience,
Right.
This more lush, experience.
And
it's like we're moving back towards the movie palace.
Yeah, I think eventually it will come to that where it's going to be, sad. It's a sad thought, but I think it's going to be like a single movie theater per region, per like big area, and it'll go back to like this movie palace type idea where it's going to be like that's the place you go to see really good movies, But otherwise, any movie that comes out, you're gonna stream it at your house.
That sounds both good and bad. That sounds good in the sense that imagining a future where this movie palace comes back into style and there is one per region. The people who are going to go there are going to be the people who care about movies, who want to see movies, who will sit there and be quiet and not on their
Right.
phone and watch a movie,
Yeah.
That idea to me is awesome. I love that. Then with that, you do lose probably the giant movie experiences with big audiences, because that's always been one of my favorite experiences. Like
the midnight screening.
the midnight
for
screenings.
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
with a bunch of people in costumes.
Packed crowd and
Right.
rowdy audience who are just into it. That's like such a wonderful thing to be
Yeah.
involved with. And to see that kind of thing go would be really quite sad, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you know, like midnight screening, or not midnight screening, midnight releases for like video games, was a really big thing. But since physical media has now kind of shifted away, they don't really do them anymore.
Yeah.
And I miss those. I miss, waiting up night for the newest Smash Brothers to come out and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The times, they are changing.
Yeah.
Well, one of the gimmicks, one of the attempts to try to save the cinema is MoviePass.
Right, which is
Right.
really quite interesting.
So a subscription concept. For the three of us, MoviePass has been a godsend. It's been awesome, especially since for this very show we watch a movie, at least one movie every week. And when we signed up, it was an unlimited deal where you could watch one movie a day, every day for the month.
Any movie
for about $10 a month.
Right.
Any movie you want, as long as the theater was participating, which is pretty much every theater now.
Right.
And so that's been like just fantastic for us. But I remember from the very beginning, like we had to ask the question: how are these guys making money?
Yeah.
Right? Because the way it works is MoviePass pays for the tickets of every movie we go to. We pay MoviePass $10 a month. So for the three of us, at least, they're operating at a huge loss.
Yeah.
And we are not the only people exploiting MoviePass.
Absolutely.
Beyond $10 a month worth of value.
Right.
So from the very beginning, I mean, I'm an amateur businessman. I look at this and I say, there's some holes here. How is this going to work? And people are, they're going to sell advertising somehow. And I just haven't seen it come yet.
Yeah.
And now they're starting to scale back the service.
Yeah. Like
It seemed too good to be true.
Yeah, and now it's starting that way.
Probably is.
That's what I was saying, like right when we started, that it was going to be a golden year of movies, and it's either going to change everything in 1 year or it's going to be gone in 1 year.
Right.
Now it's starting to look like it might just be gone.
It's starting to go that way.
Right. So now you can't watch a movie more than once.
Right. If you see one movie once, you cannot see it again.
Can't see it again with MoviePass.
Which limits you to maybe 8 times.
Right.
Yeah, that cuts you
movies.
back. Yeah. There's very few people, I think, who would watch more than 4 to 8 separate movies in a month.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I would go watch Infinity Wars again with Taylor. Me and Taylor would go watch it again.
I'd see it again.
But when Blade Runner was out, all of us never tired of Blade Runner.
No, yeah,
No,
I saw it
we
3
each,
times.
I think we each saw it at least twice, right?
Yeah.
No, that's it's funny. It's one of those quotes that came up during a podcast I was listening to where they talked about MoviePass and something janky, something shadowy that they did, and it was they said, like, a quote from the past is that if you're not paying for the product, then you are the product. And
Sure.
And MoviePass was utilizing that against they emailed surveys to people about when Death Wish came out, and asked people if they would see this movie if they didn't have MoviePass, which sounds super shady.
Yeah.
And then when Red Sparrow came out, they used their will, they used their power,
Their might.
to sway people from seeing it because Red Sparrow didn't pay or did whatever it was with MoviePass. And so for the first day, or I think it was opening day for Red Sparrow, they didn't let people with MoviePass see that movie.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Didn't hear about that.
Wait, so Red Sparrow opted out of being a part of MoviePass?
Opted out of being part of some sort of advertising thing or something.
Oh,
like
okay.
For
Separate,
marketing.
that. And so
they
said-
cut him out.
So they cut him out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they
Whoa.
also
Yeah.
punished AMC once.
Yeah.
I don't remember
that too.
exactly how it worked, but they started pulling their services from certain AMCs, and AMC felt a sting from it. Because
Yeah.
enough people were using MoviePass. So
That's kinda crazy.
They have some clout already in the industry. They're getting to where they matter. And from what I understand, they bought up a distribution company. They
Really?
bought a film distribution company and have begun shopping film festivals for content. Like they might
Wow.
become a content provider and compete against the Netflixes and Amazons of the world.
I wonder if they're going to be than one of the first.
If they become the direct streaming service,
the theatrical streaming service.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because that's something that's actually been advocated for a long time.
Yeah.
And when the concept was first introduced, it was way too early. I remember Peter Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
There was a handful of celebrities behind it.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of
who else.
Big names. I don't remember other.
But Jackson was one of them. There were a few others. Had started this company whose purpose was to do just that.
Right.
Was to make direct release, theatrical release movies to your home. And they were pitching this before Netflix, I think, even had a digital option. This was back when we were doing red envelopes.
I remember it was at least 2008.
So it was met with massive blowback.
So it was Spielberg and J.J. Abrams were behind it too.
Okay. The industry shut that idea down real quick. But they were clearly they clearly understood what was inevitable, and now that's becoming more obvious than ever.
Yeah.
So does that change anything, really, if movies begin to be directly released to us?
Honestly, I think it'll be a positive change. So there was one thing that I've heard about statistics about movies, and it's like people, it was an economic crash. Every time there's an economic crash, industries that still live during that time period are movie theaters and a few others. And I always thought that was really interesting, that people will still pay.
Escapism.
Yeah, will still pay to go see a movie. But everyone is buying into Netflix, and less people are going to movie theaters, as we've talked about, since movie theaters are trying to play catch up. And if movie streaming comes out, theatrical streaming, there is absolutely no reason to go and drive somewhere else. Say you have to get
unless
a babysitter.
you're weirdos like us.
Unless you're weirdos like us. Yeah, exactly.
Because you could even hold your own screening parties with all your friends and stuff, and get some sort of experience.
And super personalized.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with strangers. You don't have to deal with the whole other people ruining your movie experience.
Sure. Well, to be honest, my movie watching experience tends to be a little more ruined at home.
Not us.
Because I have 4 children.
Right.
When my wife and I want to watch a movie at home, it's first we need to make sure that everyone's asleep, which may take a while because we want to watch something that maybe we don't want our little kids to see. And then we usually opt for the iPhone because it's really easy to hide the screen when a kid walks in so they don't see the slasher or whatever it is that we're watching, So to me, going to the theaters is freeing, but I understand if not many people identify with that.
I could see.
I don't really like the idea of... Personally, I do not like the idea of watching a movie that's released in the theaters same day at home. I don't even really enjoy watching movies very much at home in general. I never really use Netflix. I don't really stream anything. I don't really watch movies at home.
You're just weird.
Yeah. I think that would change if pretty much I do aspire to take the same approach that audiophiles did, where they have a listening room, but
have a screening room.
Yeah, I want to get a screening room.
Yeah.
In that case, I would watch more movies at home, but I just don't.
But you know what?
There's
still a I think one big difference. Even if you build out the home theater, if you have the home theatrical experience, and now we're streaming movies direct from Hollywood to our home, the big difference is you can hit pause.
Yeah.
And the ability to hit pause, to me, changes everything.
Yeah.
It changes how you're going to act, what your priorities are, how you're going to plan your time around this movie.
Absolutely.
Because you can answer the phone, you can go take a bathroom break, and you can indefinitely suspend your movie.
Yep.
Right? Which changes the whole story. It changes the ebb and flow, the momentum of the story watching experience. And so, as a teller of stories, I don't want the pause button there.
Right.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that is a severe negative. I think most people see that as a positive.
Well,
it is.
Again, it's a comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's you lose something with everything you gain. In life, I think, and that's to me, that is a serious trade-off that I think a lot of people don't consider.
Yeah.
That luxury of being able to pause your movie does take something away from the movie.
To raise a different question and play a little bit of devil's advocate, it's like with...
What's with you and the devil? Why are you always advocating
I
for
like him, man. He's misunderstood.
He's always advocating for the devil.
He's misunderstood.
He really needs an advocate too. No one's speaking for the devil
No one
these
speaks
days.
for the devil.
So allow me, devil, where are you? What do you think of...
All right,
theaters?
Taylor, what do you and Satan have to say? Your dark lord.
Avengers Infinity War.
Is good, is what Satan would say, right?
Avengers Infinity War comes out, and it's the... I know inflation and all that, but it's the biggest box office opening weekend of all time.
Yep.
And everybody's going to see it. Theaters completely sold out. Are these huge blockbuster Marvel movies, Jurassic Park movies, whatever franchise, Star Wars movies, are those films alone lucrative enough to keep the theaters thriving almost at least for another couple generations, you know?
I don't know. I don't think theaters are thriving now.
No?
No.
Why not?
Theaters are closing all the time.
Yeah.
Theaters don't survive off of box office. They survive off of people coming through the doors and buying concessions mostly.
Right.
That's why that popcorn costs so much money, because that's where they make most of their money. And so while those gigantic numbers for these tentpole movies looks like theaters are doing really good, in between all those are a lot of movies playing to empty rooms. I mean, you think about how much money they're not making when you and 5 other people are in this big theater projecting this expensive movie onto the screen.
Right.
Which, by the way, any smaller film, any film that's not one of these tentpole films, even popular comedies and romantic dramas, if it's after the first week, you're lucky to see a theater that's more than half full on almost any given screening time. Mm-hmm. So the answer, I think, is no. I don't think there is enough unless they can start pumping out more giant tentpole style movies.
Right. Which is kind of what they're
Disney
doing.
does.
Yeah, they're sort of doing
Disney
that.
Is like
there's like
every
3
month.
Marvel movies. There's 2 Star Wars. There's a Star Wars every year, and 2 or 3 Marvels a year.
2 in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
No, between Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, fairy tales turned into live action films,
Right.
and
Fast and Furious.
no, I'm just doing this. Just Disney.
Oh, okay.
And their original animated films. Disney easily has a giant blockbuster style movie every month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Disney should own theaters.
I was thinking, they might have themed theaters.
Yeah, I could see that. They have a themed theater. I mean, they own the El Capitan in Hollywood, and they use it for all their big premieres, and they always like deck out the theater with stuff related to that movie. It's awesome.
I saw the first Avengers there.
Right,
Did you?
I bet it was cool.
It was an awesome experience.
Wow.
I could see Disney making a chain of themed theaters.
Yeah.
Just for their movies. That they'd probably be real successful.
And maybe that's our movie palace. That's the thing that's going to come.
But they
that
only
kinda
do
makes me a
Disney
little
movies.
sick.
It does, yeah.
A little sick if Disney is the movie palace.
It would be.
Disney literally runs a monopoly on the entire film industry.
Well, I mean,
They're
they
on
bought
that path.
Fox.
I know,
Like,
it's
what are they going to gobble up
And
next?
they
It's a
have
little
their
concerning.
Their streaming service could be a Netflix killer.
It's a little bit
It really
concerning.
could. Well, because here's the other side of the coin that we're not talking about, and most people aren't talking about, is that Netflix is gigantically in the red.
Right.
They're not a profitable company.
Interesting.
They spend way too much on developing content, more money than they make or have, which is only an acceptable business practice in Hollywood. Will it pay off in this case, though, with a streaming service and a new model? We don't know. Apple almost bought Netflix out earlier this year. They were thinking about making a bid. But if they're unable to get profitable quick, I could see Disney crushing Netflix as the preferred streaming service. All their content's getting pulled. It won't be on Netflix. And they have all of their whole library plus Fox.
Right.
Already at their disposal.
Star Wars films.
And the most popular film
Marvel
franchises
films.
in the world.
Yeah.
They have Indiana Jones. They have The Simpsons, right? They have 24. They have American Idol. They have the most popular TV shows of all time.
Did they buy Fox like TV stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, it came.
Wow.
Came with the package.
That's insane. Yeah, no, that's crazy.
So anyway, yeah, Disney, Apple, Amazon, and Netflix are going to be the studio systems. You know, the new studios.
Right.
It's going to be those guys. They're going to be the power players moving forward. And ultimately, they'll be the ones who decide if we still have movie houses, cinema houses to go to.
Yeah.
It'll be up to Amazon, Netflix, Apple, and Disney.
I remember when, what was the J.J. Abrams film, The Cloverfield Paradox?
Yeah.
When that came out on Netflix. And I thought how weird it was to be watching it at home.
It was, and there was a lot of controversy about that. First, it was controversial because theater chains had already booked dates.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, for showing that movie, and I guess it was a pretty last minute switch over.
That's
funny. And they had kept it sort of hush hush that it was going to happen. It was a big reveal on Super Bowl Sunday, you know, and it was cool. Like only J.J. Abrams could pull that off in that way. Like it actually gave the movie more hype than it deserved.
Yeah.
But then all the talk after the case was that, oh, they only did that because the movie wasn't that good. And if it was as good as his other Cloverfield stuff, they would have gone with the theater, which who knows.
I still haven't seen it.
So
that's the difference also. Again, personally, I would have seen it. If it was in the theaters, I would have seen Cloverfield Paradox, but it was streaming.
Is that because it feels more special? Or because you prefer a different experience?
Well, because one, it is a different experience. It is a different experience, and I still, in my head,
equate quality
with theaters.
You have the Spielberg mindset.
That's an excellent segue, right?
That's exactly what Steven Spielberg feels as well.
Though I do acknowledge that streaming services can be just as good quality, if not better quality.
He equates the streaming services with TV movies, and in his mindset, if a movie's coming out on Netflix, it is the same as what we used to call TV movies, which I think is
that's
kind
not
of
true.
Antiquated.
Yeah,
mindset.
Antiquated. Yeah, is the word.
Yeah, there was a time when TV movie had a meaning. and it was a bad thing.
Yeah.
You didn't want to be, looking like a TV movie, and your movie looked really bad.
Right, right.
But in the world of Game of Thrones, we live in a reality now where Game of Thrones exists, which, sorry, people who pay for HBO as part of their cable service, it is a streaming show.
Yeah.
HBO has become a streaming service. Just as much as Netflix or anything else, and
I love how that's happened.
Way more people are watching their programming streaming.
Yeah, I started watching The Wire because I now have access to HBO.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's
right.
That's like a testament.
That's an old show.
Yeah.
So it's like I simultaneously agree. I agree with Spielberg's thesis, but disagree with the conclusion
in practice.
Yeah. Because I definitely think that any streaming film could be eligible for awards.
So this coming Cannes, there will be no films from Netflix there. The previous Cannes, Okja premiered. And
Okja was good.
Okja is
awesome.
a great movie.
Yeah.
On par or better with many theatrically released films. And there's a lot of bad films, Netflix original films.
Oh, there's tons.
But
yeah.
there's a lot of bad crap released in the cinemas too, you know.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
like suggesting that there is a quality bar associated with cinemas is wrong.
yeah.
There's
it's
yeah,
not
no,
true.
that's just straight up wrong.
It's
Yeah.
just not true.
I mean, in a world where Winchester,
Yeah,
know,
Winchester gets released in the theaters.
in the theater, and we have something like Arc or what's the other one? That
Black
sci-fi
Mirror?
one. Yeah, Black Mirror.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, you can't. These are not apples and oranges. There's just different rooms where we're watching the movies.
Right.
And they all have to play the same rules in making those movies, right? They all have to get funded. They have to follow union rules and all. It's just about how it's being distributed. So
Right.
to say one deserves an Oscar and one doesn't is silly.
Completely.
Or could be in can or not be in can
Right.
is also silly.
completely arbitrary.
Well, I think
Well, it's not arbitrary.
No.
The reason they're doing it is to try to preserve the
Theater
cinema.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
They're
think-
trying to preserve the thing we want saved.
Yeah.
So who's the bad guy? I don't know. I don't know who to root for.
his I think Spielberg's idea about quality in TV movies is verging on the idea where we have Netflix is such a huge industry that they kind of just make movies to bring in viewers and just make movies to bring in viewers and keep doing that. Whereas like theater movies are made because the auteur or whoever was that made the movie is making it for themselves mostly. I mean, like I wouldn't say
None of the tentpole films.
no,
are that
right.
way.
That's what doesn't, because like it's on both ends. Isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. The one part of this whole equation that we're not talking about are the art house theaters, which really have seemed to remain constant for like the last, 20 years of my film going experience. The art house has not been affected by all the things that are changing, right? If you want to see, this new documentary from France, you go to the art house theater, right? That's still the place you go. That's always been the place you go. And that doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
I think that's because the people who like to go see art house films will
Are
always,
cinemaphiles.
Yeah, they're always going to be going. So that audience is always there, and there's not really much you can do to sway that audience from not going to the
Well, I mean,
theater.
like people who like theme parks go to theme parks.
Yeah.
Because they like it.
Exactly.
There's an audience there, and the theaters that we're talking about right now, the Cineplexes, are geared for masses.
Yeah.
They definitely don't have a niche audience.
Yeah.
So one possibility is that, it's funny you mentioned theme parks, is that the Cinemaplex becomes more and more like a theme park,
Yeah.
right? A bigger, grander experience that's all wrapped up in this idea of the major, big tentpole movie.
Yeah.
And then the art house theaters still existing, doing their own little thing. But if the Cinemaplex is going to continue to exist, it's probably going to be all built around the Marvels and the Star Warses
Yeah.
of the world.
I could see that in like a world where D-box seats become like the norm.
That sounds uncomfortable.
Can you turn it off? Can you opt to like turn off
I'm sure
your,
you can.
your
That'd be
seat
nice.
moving?
But then you just hear like hydraulics through the
Yeah,
whole
everyone
movie.
around. Jeez.
Yeah.
It sounds irritating.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Ugh.
So I have a solution.
Oh, good.
Well, it solves our problem, like the three of us at the table. I'm sorry for everyone
Build our
else,
own cinema.
but for us, is to have our own theater.
Well, so I actually want.
I've always wanted to own a theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a place nearby here, the Fountains Outlets.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, anyway, there's an outlet over here that used to have it. They don't anymore, but it used to be a place where you could go in and order stuff for your own, like movie room, and they had
Yeah.
like projectors and the seats and everything, and those things are awesome. And I have a friend who has one of those areas that has like a big circular couch.
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
Giant.
No.
Love
I
that.
want an actual theater.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
a
yeah.
home theater, like where
like
that
the
we can
Tower
sell
Theater?
tickets to,
Oh, okay.
that we can host screenings
Of the Talkies.
of indie films that we could bring in cool artsy indie films from all over the world. We could screen our own films in. We could hook up your Xbox and play games.
I don't have an Xbox.
What do the kids play on these days?
Xbox.
Okay, fine. And he'll have events and have special midnight screenings of Infinity War
And The Room.
and The Room.
Only The Room.
I
Let's
want-
play The Room. Go for it.
I want that so bad. Even if it's tiny, that's like one of my grand objectives in life is to own a theater and make it my own palace.
Are you going to charge me and D tickets?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
It'll be steep too.
Well,
Extra.
it'll be steeper.
I'll charge you extra.
$30 tickets.
No, of course we should own it together. It should be Carmen Lines.
Carmen Line Theater.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Carmen Line Studios,
Theater.
Cinema Palace,
KLS.
the Carmen Line Palace.
The KL.
P.
KLP.
S.
Clip.
Clip the clip. Come to the clip.
Hey, that's pretty
Sounds
catchy.
a little weird.
Cinema clip.
Yeah. I like it.
So that's one solution: is buy a theater.
Okay. You heard it here first. Buy a theater.
So that's what we suggest to all who are.
Yeah, if you want to save the industry, buy a movie theater and keep selling tickets, even though you won't make enough money. You'll operate at a loss, but just keep doing it.
I mean, Century Theaters. Century Theaters have their Fathom events, right? That they do, where they show what do you call
Operas,
screenplays,
sports, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, all kinds of things on there. Then they have giveaways. They even have like event. What do you call it?
You can do like
Times where they have-
corporate events.
Yeah, even those. That's weird.
Well, even the whole we've all been completely conditioned to it now, but this concept of using the blank screen to show ads and commercials before the movie
Yeah.
is a relatively modern innovation.
Yeah.
So I remember
where
when
they
I was a
just play
kid,
commercials.
the curtain would be down and curtains would go up when it was time for a movie to start. And that was my favorite thing, was sitting in the theater and you're just impatient. You're like, when then finally you'd see the curtains start to go up, you'd be like, yes, yes, it's time. And man, it's been a long time since I've seen a curtain go up in a movie theater.
Now it's instead of a curtain, it's please silence your cell phones.
yeah, that's how you know it's time. The third time they say silence your cell phone.
After 20 minutes of previews.
Yes, and Nuvi
And Nuvi.
with Maria Menounos.
Menounos.
We love Maria.
Check out what's new at Nuvi.
She has a new outfit.
Sign up for her newsletter.
Oh.
She has a podcast now too.
Yeah,
Ooh, we should get on that.
we should be like her guests.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
should interview us.
Yeah.
Let's bring her on the Talkies.
Yeah. Let's see-
We could get the Menounos bump.
Hey, the first thing I would
Saying
ask
name
her?
right?
It's hard to say her name.
Menounos?
Maria
Maria
Menounos.
Menounos.
Maria Menounos. I can't do it.
If she came on our show,
Miss Nuvi.
the first thing I would ask her would be, "Hey Maria, what's new at Nuvi?"
What's Nuvi?
If you don't know what Nuvi is, I apologize for the last 3 minutes of jokes. I'm sorry. We go to too many movies. We even know like the commercials from like the local
Yeah.
dentists.
Jason Couch.
Yeah, that play every time we go. We have our favorites and the ones we hate.
And we rate
Diet
all
Coke?
of them. Yeah.
And we've been talking about making a commercial for the Talkies.
Yeah.
And putting it on one of these screens in our local theaters.
Yeah.
I inquired about that actually.
Did you?
Too,
What'd they tell you? How much?
They kept asking questions.
They're asking you
Yeah,
questions?
they're asking me to.
no. You're like, I'm asking the questions.
yeah, it's like I
here,
just
sir.
want to know how much it
How
is.
much does it cost?
Yeah, so I didn't follow through.
What'd they ask you?
They were like, what's your business? What's your thing? What's your motivation?
Your motivation.
What's your deal?
Which theater?
The Cinemark.
Right.
Like,
Century, I
who's
think,
this
or
kid
something.
calling? Why are they?
We should
Just
do
ask them
the
more
if we do the
questions.
Palladio in
Yeah.
Folsom, we'll have no problem.
Yeah,
See
they'll
the
take
garbage,
anything.
See the garbage they put
Yeah.
up in there.
Oh yeah. Ugh.
Let's do the Palladio. It's probably cheap.
Yeah. Probably cheap. Super cheap.
Yeah. Well,
Well, I think we've about
About hit it,
expended
yeah.
our topic here. I hope that we find a way to keep cinemas alive.
So do
I love
like
it. I love the experience.
I still want a movie theater in my house.
I want
do too.
that too.
I want a movie room.
With
So do I.
a big old comfy couch and
yes.
a big rear projection.
Yeah.
No, OLED.
OLED.
Big OLED.
Yeah.
Big old OLED with a nice
112-inch OLED.
112-inch OLED. Nice.
8K. 16K.
Yes, more Ks the better, because that's what equals. Maybe
128K.
maybe a future episode of the Talkies we could talk about the
Resolutions?
myth of resolution.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah.
That's
don't
dumb.
don't believe the hype, folks.
Don't believe the hype.
4K is a lie.
No, it's better. It's better. High refresh rate, true motion.
Ooh.
Oh. I don't like saying those words.
What do you think about
About Infinity War.
Who are you talking to?
what do you think about
viewers?
theaters? I mean, what
The
do you,
future
is it going,
of the cinema. We want to get your take. The
Hey,
future
Kenny,
of the
tell me what
cinema.
Taylor was saying.
Here's what,
What was I
Taylor's
saying?
What Taylor's trying to say. The future of the cinema. What do you think about it? Is it in peril? Is movie pass from heaven or hell? Is do Netflix originals deserve Oscars? What do you think? Weigh in, subscribe, and like, and comment, and we will see you at the Talkies if there's still movie theaters to go to.
Also, we're doing 2 episodes a week now.
2 episodes every week,
Monday and Thursday.
Monday and Thursday.
In a world.
In a world where Talkies is twice a week.
That's this world.
Right now.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Where's your... You threw a lens cap at me.
I was trying to hit the...
Jazz hands.
We got copyrighted on our music, so Kenny needs to whistle now.
Copyright police came and said, you can't use